Alright, for this tutorial I'm going to be talking about doing some shading. So for one, we're going to have to identify the light source. So maybe the light is coming from up here, the sun's all the way up here, then all of your shadows are going to fall on this side of the building. And maybe these trees are going to be hit by the sun, so the highlight would be on this side of the tree, and the darkness would be way on the back, wherever the light isn't touching. And if there is something like a tree or an object, the shadow it's going to cast will be going in the direction that the highlight or the light source is pointing. So if it's going toward this tree, it wouldn't make sense for the shadow to be on this side of the tree. Nah. It would be on this side of the tree. And that's obviously because this is just basically creating a shape that's in the way of the light. So it's not, the light isn't getting to touch the ground behind the object. So it's creating a shadow. Okay, so maybe on this side, light is coming from this side. Maybe the sun is way up in the sky, pointing down. That's not where the sun's going to be. Just ignore that. But anyway, we'll just say that the sun's up here. Light source is coming from here. So all these happy faces are going to stay bright, and the sides are going to be dark. Now, this one back here is going to be, again, having that light source being obscured by this big object. This big object is blocking the light from hitting this top of the building. So this top of the building will be shadowy too. And its side will be shadowy. And then these little cracks, there could be shadows there as well. There will be shadows on the street. And something to consider is like, how much of a shadow would something cast? And a good way to think about that or work with that is to find a box or some kind of box-like thing in your house. Maybe that's a dresser, maybe it's your air conditioning unit, maybe it's your laptop, and just observe what kind of shadow is cast depending on what kind of light is hitting it and from where. And so this is something you can just kind of play around with. This is just an example of like how to assign where shadows and light come from. I would definitely watch that shading tutorial that I posted as well. It's very helpful. But yeah, the main thing you want to stick to, like the way she describes it, it's very like kind of complicated while being very simple if you're just watching it. It's kind of like an information dump. So I wanted it to be as easy as possible for you guys. Just pick one main light source and where it's coming from, and don't deviate from that. Like, don't all of a sudden be like, okay, the light's hitting here, but here it's going to be darkened. Like, that wouldn't make sense. If it's bright here, it should be bright here. If there's light hitting it here, there should be light hitting it here. And of course, you can play around with, like, you know, if your shadows are getting more involved, maybe there's a chair on your roof. It's not perspectively accurate, but like there would be light underneath the chair. I mean, a shadow underneath the chair. And then all the shadows should, again, be matching up with where's that light hitting from. If the light is hitting from over here, and you had a little chair on your roof, that light's coming from this angle. Yeah. And then, oh, I would want my shadows to keep happening at that angle. That's another way to do it. You can involve the horizon line and the vanishing point perspective. Because if you have shadows, those shadows should also match up with the perspective lines. Okay, happy drawing.